Cannabis is eventually coming to Minnesota in a much bigger way, but the industry is still changing before it really even begins.
The Office of Cannabis Management is asking for some small changes, but they're also answering some pretty big questions. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard live at the Capitol for us. Corin, there are some concerns here about unfair competition, even a possible collapse of the medical cannabis industry.
Yeah, that's right, Amy and Simone. The fine-tuning includes things like telling municipal liquor stores it'll be okay to keep selling THC beverages even if they dip their toes in the retail cannabis market. But there are big concerns about big money and some other very big questions. Minnesota is just a few months away from issuing cannabis retail licenses, but it's nowhere near ready to launch a self-contained cannabis market.
Our demand study anticipates that we need about 1.5 to 2 million square feet of canopy to satisfy the Minnesota demand for cannabis products. At present, the state has somewhere in the neighborhood of 60,000 square feet.
That means growers in the state can provide about 3% of the demand. And it means the state needs to issue a lot of licenses for cultivation, probably more than 100. But the Office of Cannabis Management also expects tribal growers to fill some of that need. That could happen through compacts the governor's office is negotiating that would allow tribes to open cannabis businesses off reservation. The only problem is lawmakers don't know what's happening in those negotiations.
It's hard for us to sit here today with a little more than 2 months left in this legislative session to know what laws and what rules to put in place unless this process is more transparent.
Medical cannabis cultivators can't help much either. Patients are concerned the growers will opt out of the medical market because of limits to how much they can grow and because the medical market will only shrink as recreational use increases. But even as the OCM oversees the country's third slowest rollout from legalization to licensed retail sales, leaders are confident it'll shake out fine. Tribal businesses won't have an unfair advantage, and the medical industry will survive.
I think that we're going to be in a place where all of these different constituencies are entering the market at relatively similar times and positions, and each of them will have a fair and real opportunity to build their business.
And without getting too in the weeds about all these bills, there is one that says a social equity applicant can still qualify with a lesser investment. There's another one that would allow for people from other states with medical cannabis cards to come to Minnesota and still have those apply. They wouldn't have to get a new card here in Minnesota to still get medical cannabis. Live at the Capitol, Corin Hoggard, Fox 9.